Is the mic on? Episode 97. What's wrong with Orny Adams? Well, I have turned a corner. It's official. I'm almost too embarrassed to tell you. I would make so much fun of me if it wasn't me. I remember people doing this when I was a kid, and I couldn't believe it. But I have turned the corner. I thought turning the corner into adulthood was when you went to the dentist and all they did was talk about gum disease instead of cavities, but it got worse yesterday. I returned soup. I returned soup at the restaurant because it wasn't warm enough. And I remember when I was a kid, I think my I called him Uncle, related to me somehow, but much older, returned soup because it wasn't hot enough. And I thought, what is wrong with these people? And I've become that. Now, here's what makes it even worse. The soup was my meal. This wasn't an appetizer. For lunch, I just ordered soup. And then it came out and it wasn't hot enough. And I had to return it. And I thought, well, it's over. It's over. What's wrong with Orny Adams? Episode 97. Thank you for tuning in. All the people that keep coming back. All the people watching it on YouTube, and the newer episodes are where? Patreon.com/Orny. If you want to support me, that's how you support me. If you want to support me without supporting me that way, financially, which is cool. But I'm going to tell you this. That pays for a lot of the expenses. So thank you, everybody, for your generosity. But even if you just pass this podcast on to other people, or if you rate it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever, YouTube, all that helps. I just want you to see it and enjoy it and love it. And it's Thanksgiving coming up. And what better way to spend your Thanksgiving than listening to me just go on and on and on and on and on and on. But episode 97, I came out swinging against Orny Adams. And what's wrong with him? Look at my t-shirt. Look at this. Do you guys know Gideon from the show Teen Wolf? His daughter, when we did a convention in Atlanta, Georgia, his daughter drew this little Orny Adams. I said, that looks like me. And then someone made it into a shirt for me. And now I'm thinking of selling these after the shows. I think it's so cool. So you excited for Thanksgiving? Here's how I describe these holidays. You go home and you're face to face with your genetics. And you see everything that is wrong with you, everything that's right with you, right there in front of you. Mirrored, mimicking, taunting, congratulating. All that. It's like spending a weekend with yourself times 10. I think that's why hanging out with family is so difficult for so many people, because they're forced to realize that genetically they are something that they can't help. Because I live in Los Angeles. This is where everyone runs to get away from their genetics. You see people walking around here that come out here from, I don't know, Iowa, and they decide they're going to be in show business, and their parents come to visit, and you look at the parents and you go, no way that came from those two people. You know, they're clearly on some sort of, the kid who's out here in Hollywood is on some sort of diet. They dress hipster, or they dress Hollywood. And the parents are just like, shucks. Shucks. I see it all the time. This is a place you come and you run away from your genetics. And when you go home for the holidays, I'll be there on next week for Thanksgiving. I will be face to face. Now, I'm very fortunate that I get along with my family and my parents, and we talk daily. And I look forward to seeing them. I don't get the whole meal. Who can eat that much? I actually don't eat that much. When I'm around a lot of food, I eat less food, which means I should be around more food more often. That should be my diet. More food more often actually is my new hip-hop album, too. More food more often. So there's a lot of preparation. I'm going to time it this year. I'm actually going to time how long, because the preparation, I'm in charge of carving the turkey. Now, how I came up I was given this responsibility. I'll never know. But I have to carve. So I get dressed up in a nice outfit, and then they're like, oh, you have to carve the turkey. Now I have to avoid fat splatter all over my clothing, because my clothing finds stains. And anytime I see a stain on my clothing, I'm like, oh my God. Oh, I don't even know how to eat. I'm such a loser. I don't even know how to eat. What's wrong with me? Stains are the worst. Why we can't get oil out of clothing? We can get oil out of the ground and into a car, but we can't get it out of clothing? You sit there. It happens every year. I bring a nice outfit, get oil on it, and then everyone's like, put salt on it, put baking soda on it, you scrub it, and then what you have is a little patch that is a different color than the rest of the shirt that says, loser doesn't know how to eat without getting food and oil all over himself. So I'm going to time, because the preparation, I'm sure my parents and family are preparing now. They're already baking things and buying ingredients. But the actual amount of prep time the day before, I totally forgot. You have to set the table. I hate it. We have these tables that you have to, what do they call leaflets, the leaves you put in the table. They're these large wooden, this table's been passed on for generations, and they're all wrapped up nicely, and my mom's worried I'm going to, get some nicks on them, and my dad and I, it's always, when are we going to put the table together? Oh, the stress, the minute I land, it's going to be all about when are we putting the table together. Then we have to put the table together, which takes all of 5 minutes, but I can't stand it. And then we put a tablecloth on it, and then we have to set the table. And my mom puts out all these nice little, turkeys and little porcelain Thanksgiving things. And it's really festive. It's nice. Sometimes there's leaves on the table, because I grew up in New England. We have leaves that fall on the ground. And it's a nice, nice time. It's a lot of preparation. And I would say the actual eating of the meal, I bet, is less than 30 minutes. All that for less than 30 minutes. And then the cleaning, cleaning up after Thanksgiving is the worst. Getting the dishes off the table back into the kitchen, because we eat in the dining room, that's one thing. Then the other thing is that we use good dishes, better silverware. All this stuff now has to be separate and cleaned, and somebody sits there and just is cleaning dishes the whole time. And I always pray it's not me. My brother-in-law likes to do it. And then I have some cousins, and they come and they like to do it. And then I like to tchotchke around. I like to do the stuff I can do. I can take a pie from the dining room into the kitchen, and I can wrap it or find the box that it was once in. I'm good at that stuff. I'm not good. I can load the dishwasher. My dad tends to overload it. I can do that. Emptying the dishwasher, I don't know, there's a bunch of stuff. I don't know where it goes. But how am I supposed to relax knowing that there are an abundance of chores I'm about to be met with? Oh, then the next day, everyone leaves, because they live in Boston, outside of Boston, my sisters, everyone leaves. Now in the morning, guess who has to do next day cleanup too? That's right, me. So then I'll have to, my mom will say, oh, can you vacuum the living room? And can you sweep the kitchen? And then, I totally forgot. Then I have to take the leaves out of the table again. Then I gotta wrap them up. And some go in one closet, some go in another closet. The tablecloths have to be taken out. They've got to be taken to the dry cleaners. Why am I going home? Why do we do this? And even if we ordered the entire meal in, it would still be a ton of work. It would be a ton of work. Yeah, the actual meal itself is very fast. Never enough gravy. Never. 2 kinds of cranberry sauce. That's what we offer in my family. Somebody makes one, which I don't like as much as the one that looks like it just came out of a can. It's shaped like a can. Looks like a Warhol painting. I like to see the bottom of the can imprinted on the cranberry sauce. I like that. It's good sweetness. And then gravy. Never enough gravy. So much food. And then we eat the food for the next couple of days. But it's always great to see my family. Thanksgiving is mandatory in my house. As you know, if you listen to this podcast, one of the earliest episodes, I went home for Thanksgiving during COVID. Risked my life to go through all these rituals. So it is mandatory. Must be home for Thanksgiving. And I will be. I will be. And my sister makes soup, which is unbelievable. We have it as an appetizer. And guess what? It's always hot. Squash something, ginger, I just had it on the tip of my tongue. Lemongrass maybe in there. It is so good. I could have 5 of those. It's not cool. It's not cold. You have to send it back. How could the soup be cold from that restaurant? I mean, think about it. I mean, soup's in a big pot, right? How is it not? Aren't they taking the temperature? Makes me worried. Like, if they can't keep the soup hot, does that mean like other ingredients that are supposed to be in the fridge? Is the fridge cold enough? Is everything to code? I returned soup. And if you're younger than me, or my age, or older than me, and you're laughing, ha ha ha, oh, Orny Adams is a soup returner. You'll get there. You'll get there. When your whole meal is a bowl of soup, you want it to be perfect. And it wasn't. I sent it back. And guess what? When the new soup came, same exact temperature. Oh, and the waiter took the soup, and there was a trash can. Like, now, this isn't a bad restaurant, but why is there a trash can close to the diners? He dumped this, like, passive-aggressively, threw the soup out. Now, I wouldn't have returned it if I knew he was going to throw it out. Could have just microwaved it, or I don't know what. It's probably a health code violation to bring food back like that, now that I think about it, even though they probably used to do it for years and years and years. Oh, this is good news. I have a lot of notes. A lot of weird things going on, but it's two-sided. I do that too, because I care about the environment. These are my notes I'm looking at if you're listening to the podcast right now. But a woman who caused a big ruckus on an airplane, they had to turn the plane around. They fined her $39,000 for threatening American Airlines flight crew. A woman from Hawaii has been ordered to pay nearly $39,000 in restitution to American Airlines for interfering with a crew on a flight last year, according to authorities. The 29-year-old, her name's, I'm not going to say her name, was sentenced to more than 3 months and then served time, blah, 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 blah. According to authorities, on February 13, 2022, flight from Phoenix to Honolulu, when she began using profanity and threatening the flight crew and other passengers. Now, you're going to Hawaii. Aren't you in a good mood? You're leaving Phoenix. There should never be a happier moment in a person from Hawaii's life when you're leaving Hawaii and going to Phoenix. And you're causing a ruckus. The plane's captain decided to turn the aircraft around and landed back in Phoenix. Ha 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 ha. You're not going back to Hawaii. You're going back to Phoenix. So I love that they're fining these people because maybe it will stop all of these outbursts because it's out of control flying. It's not safe anymore. I used to feel safe. I used to fear that something happening to the plane, turbulence, or maybe like what happened to me in Sarasota where the plane was coming in for a landing and there was another plane on the runway. I fear that. I never feared passengers. Thought everyone would be on their best behaviors. But in this day and age, the world is so screwed up that you're not safe anywhere. And I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes, but I saw this, and my initial reaction was, what is going on? Why is this being studied at Brown University with everything that's going wrong in the world, or all the diseases, or we should be studying everyone's mental conditions post-COVID? They're studying the effects of belly flops. Why are belly flops painful. Scientists actually conducted a study to find out. I thought, what? This is such a waste. And then I actually felt good, and I thought, you know what? I like this. I like that we're diverting our brains in some sense. So you know what a belly flop is. When somebody, usually the fat guy at the party, decides to get attention by jumping off of something like the diving board and just going full down, hitting the water. Big laugh watching the fatty do that. I'm on the cusp of that. I like to eat my soup and then do belly flops. So this was an article in something called Study Finds. I verified it. It might be funny to watch people doing belly flops into a pool, but it's no fun on the body. Belly flopping can be painful, and Brown University scientists are now studying diving and why it is painful to do that. The stinging pain that follows such a dive is a result of the abrupt change from the air to still water, causing the water surface to resist the body's motion fiercely. Isn't this, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction? All of a sudden, the water has to accelerate to catch up to the speed of what's falling through the air. When this happens, that large reaction force is sent back to whatever's doing the impacting. That's the fat person jumping off of and I don't mean to say it's only fat people or stereotype belly floppers. I should apologize to the people that belly flop at parties. Let me take a moment. I'd like to apologize to all the people doing belly flops at parties that I've characterized you as the fat person. And, I shouldn't even make fun of obesity to begin with, because, a lot of people, you can't help it. But that's, I grew up and there was that person doing the belly flops. When this happens, the reaction force is sent back into whatever's impacting and landing. Anyway, they studied this. They've done studies upon studies to figure out why it hurts so much. They, in fact, took simulated bodies and put shocks on them like a car, and that actually made it worse. And so this is how Brown University is spending its money. For all you people donating to Brown University, wondering where your money's going, it's to study the trivial yet important party tradition in the summer of somebody doing a belly flop into the pool, much to the excitement of everyone watching and getting everyone wet on the sidelines. Oh, the people on the side of the pool just got wet from the belly flopper. You know what I say to the belly floppers? Grow up! Grow up! Get a life, belly floppers! Just in a bad mood because I returned my soup and I just feel like a loser. I really do. So there's something I read about, and I believe this to be true. For sure. For sure. There's something called compassion fatigue. Now, I have everything fatigue. I have doing this podcast fatigue. I have decision fatigue. When somebody says, hey, want to go out for lunch? I can say yes. Then when they want to decide where to go or whatever, that's when I go, oh, my head's going to explode. Can you just pick and we'll just show up and eat? It's not that important. It's just a meal. Everything is a decision. I'm sick of doing math, travel math. All right, my flight's at 8 a.m. I have to leave at 5 a.m. I have to check my bag. I have to go here. I have to bring this. But is my bag way too much? Does this? When I get to the city I'm arriving, how am I going to be picked up? Blah, 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 the hotel. Like, I'm sick of doing calculus and making decisions. I want to have, I want to sit there like a vegetable with my soup for a year and just not have to make a decision. I just want to have a decision-free life. I'd love to have someone make decisions for me. I want to go back to being a kid. When I was a kid, you sit in the backseat of the car, you end up somewhere. Sometimes you're playing with somebody. Sometimes they're trying to expose you to chickenpox. Sometimes you're going out to eat. Who knows? You just sit in the back seat. You don't have to have directions. You don't have to worry about how much it costs. You have to worry about parking. So many effing decisions have to be made as an adult. All I do all day is make decisions. Everything I buy, there's a million choices of everything. I mean, I talk about it in all my specials, but just go down the cereal aisle. How many damn cereals do we need? How many shapes of French fries do we need? You've heard me do that on stage. I did on stage in Vegas 2 weeks ago. So how many different shaped French fries do we need? And a guy over there, like, didn't even let me finish the sentence. 3. As if he had thought about this before. And then he rattled off his 3 favorites. So I thought, that was pretty fascinating. Unless he had seen me before and he was prepared. Compassion fatigue can happen to anyone. And here's how you can overcome it. This is an article published by Caroline Pulido Ariza. Compassion fatigue doesn't mean you lack sympathy. When tragic events happen, no matter how far away from us they are, it's hard not to pay attention. Many of us empathize with these people in these situations and wonder, how can we get involved? Or is there anything we can do to help? Over the past few years, we've borne witness to a series of pivotal global events, from the COVID pandemic to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, as well as many natural disasters, the invasion of Israel, and now what's going on in Gaza. So just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse, they just mentioned it, the conflict in the Gaza escalated. So with so many tragedies following so closely after one another, some of us may be finding, as much as we want to change or engage with what's going on, we have no more sympathy left to give and would rather switch off from what's going on around us. And you can put me in that category. I'm so sick of the news. I'm so sick of the news repeating itself. I don't know how these broadcasters do it. They tell the same stories day in, day out, day, next day, repeat. They tell the stories if they've never told the story before. They have anecdotes like they've never told that anecdote before. How do they do it? It's not healthy. I have compassion fatigue. I'll shut it off. I'll deal with my localized problems. I'll deal with the things I have to deal with. Me. How do we have time to take care of our own problems when we're dealing with the entire world's problems? I grew up in a small town. I remember growing up, all I cared about was what was going on in the small town. Just cared about the problems that were within a radius of your home, a small radius. Sometimes you heard about stuff that was going on overseas, but it's bad. The world is bad. There's bad stuff happening every day all over the world. We can't take that on ourselves. We can't. It's horrific. And I think for a short period of time, you're like, I can't take this. You go up in arms. Maybe you're protesting. Maybe you're posting about some invasion or war or this or that or some injustice. And then after a while, you go, I just can't do it anymore. I just can't do it. And you zone out. Compassion fatigue is a stress response, results in feelings of apathy or indifference towards those that are suffering. This phenomenon is particularly common in healthcare. Health and social workers may be particularly prone because the nature of their work often means sharing the emotional burden of their patients. I always wondered this, like a psychologist or psychiatrist, when they're done talking to their patients, how do you get beyond that? Or like Jim Clemente, the FBI profiler who was on the last episode. I've talked to him privately. Like, what's it like to take that on? Take on disgusting, deplorable people and interview them and sit across from them. How do you unwind? Jim listens to my comedy. That's how he unwinds. But he had a whole lifetime of it. Psychologists have also found that people with certain personality types may be at a higher risk of experiencing compassion fatigue. For instance, people who tend to hold their emotions in. Yeah, that's me. I hold nothing in. But are more prone to pessimism and worrying. Well, that's me. That is me for sure. So, they then give a list of what, and you shouldn't feel guilty if you suffer from compassion fatigue. Meaning, if one day you're just like, I can't hear about this A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. I can't hear about the world crumbling anymore. Where the hell is the good news? Where's the good news? Besides my podcast and my comedy, where's the good news in the world? Anybody? I've always thought we should just do a good news channel. And I'm sure other people have thought of that. And there's a reason probably why. Nobody wants that. The news knows what they're doing. What bleeds leads, right? That's what they always say. What bleeds leads, meaning if it's tragic, people will pay attention. Good news, you know at the end when they do the feel-good story, we all tune out. We all tune out. Here's the other thing. We're all tied to our phones, and I think they mentioned that in this article. We're all tied to our phones. And when you're tied to your phone, all you're doing is getting notifications every day. Every single day, you are getting notifications. And they're never good. In fact, I'm sick of it. I've been trying to talk about this on stage. I am so fatigued from notifications. I am so sick of looking at my phone. Oh, why are my headsets still on? I am so sick of looking at my phones. I have such a beautiful head of hair, and there I am, interrupting your view of it with my headsets. I am an idiot. Here I am, basically a hair model. And I should use what I got, and I'm covering it with those headsets. Although I have to admit, my voice sounds really good through the headsets, the cans. But anyway, we're on our phones all the time. Can you finish a sentence? Can you do anything on your phone without being interrupted by something? There's a notification for the 100 apps that you subscribe to. There's news notifications. There's Amber Alerts. Like, it's nonstop. Somebody calls you. Somebody texts you. Sometimes I'm like, I'm putting my phone down. I'm done with it. Ding. Now I'm on the phone and I'm going in a circle, refreshing everything. The phones are horrible. And let me say this, okay? If you're getting your news from TikTok, revisit that strategy. TikTok is an app that is developed and owned by China, a communist country that doesn't have our best interests, the United States, in it. And it was an app developed where we had people dancing. It was a dancing app. Now it's our news source. It's insanity. I mean, I'm sure there's great sources of news on TikTok, but within that, there's some bad propaganda and misinformation. And I'm bringing this up because I did get a letter from somebody asking me through the What's Wrong at Orny Adams email, and I could read it. It goes on in great lengths, but asking me that, are you willing to get off of this app? Do you really need it? I'll read you the first, the beginning of it. Hi, Orny. Have you seen the news on TikTok? And it's referring to one incident. I don't even want to discuss it. It's gone viral with so many people agreeing with this person. Maybe it's AI planted by a foreign country. I don't know. But stupid people are in America and they're falling for it. Stupid people all over the world. I got news for you. America did not invent stupidity. Okay? We mastered it. We may have exported it, but travel the world. There's stupid people everywhere. It's not an American thing. Violence is not an American thing. There's violence all over the world. Okay? You might want to consider getting off that platform and deleting it. It's an app made by a communist country that's having considerable impact on the people in North America. Do you want to be part of that? Well, I don't, but I could also look at it like this, that I'm a positive force on that app. And maybe I can distract away from that. It's also a way for me to build my business. I make money off of TikTok. And so I have real mixed emotions. I mean, could say the same thing for a lot of these platforms. Could say that, by the way, don't go see any of these movies. Don't go anywhere. Don't go out to eat. Meals are being prepared by bad people. There's so many bad people in the world. Our lives are intertwined with them. I can't make a statement about everything. Anyway, this goes on and on and on. And her name is Elisa, and she might be Canadian. What does it say at the end? I don't know. She just goes, I didn't finish it, but thank you for the email. I do appreciate the email, and it's a good thought, and it gets me thinking. And to be honest with you, none of that's come up in my feed. None of it. TikTok knows I don't want to see other comedians. I just want to see attractive people dancing. That's it. And some of the funny trend stuff. I don't watch too much. I post, but when I do watch, I get depressed. I get depressed because I find the content depressing. Just a complete waste of time to watch and be absorbed in. And I can't imagine people getting the news from it. But I also get really down because I think, why would you ever watch one of my videos next to one of these videos? You know, people, the fights breaking out, people losing their minds in public, attractive people dancing. Oh, and here's Orny Adams talking about how he had to send his soup back because it wasn't warm enough. Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna blow up on TikTok and social media. Can they make an app for people that want my content? I just want an app for people that want my content. That's it. Nothing else. Okay, so here in this article, if you have this fatigue, here is what they suggest to do. Okay, if you have, I've already forgotten what it's called, compassion fatigue. Setting your limits on usage of your phone, regardless of the reasons, may. I don't know how to read anymore. There are many techniques you can use to cope and overcome it. Here are some. 1, acceptance. Acceptance. Don't feel bad for feeling disengaged from the news. Well, I don't feel bad. I think the news is part of the problem, a large part. I think we need the news, but I hate to sound like old man super turner Orny Adams, but news, we should watch at 5 p.m. once a day. That was it. Now it's all day. And you have to be the first to know. You have to be the first to know that Matthew Perry died. It was Matthew Perry, right? Matthew Perry died. Was it Matthew Perry? Wasn't the other one, was it? You have to be the first to know. You have to be the first to know when this happens or that happens. And you better be prepared when people go, oh, did you hear what happened in Ottawa, Canada? Like, no, what happened? Now you're the idiot that isn't to the second updated on the news. By the way, nothing happened in Ottawa. In fact, I think I'm doing shows up there. I'm doing shows. Let's talk about my shows coming up. I'm doing, I'll be at the Irvine Improv, December 8th through 10th. December 16th, I'll be at the Ice House in Pasadena, California. January, I go to Chicago, the Chicago Improv. I will be in Traverse. I say it wrong every time. I want to say Traverse, Michigan, at the Opera House the week before Chicago. So I fly in, I do a theater in Traverse, Michigan, spend a couple of days in that freezing territory, end up in Chicago, do a couple of shows in Chicago. I go to McCurdy's again. Lots going on. OrnyAdams.com/tour. Okay, so if you have this fatigue, empathy fatigue, whatever they called it, how about calling it something I can remember? How about that? This is what you do. Don't feel guilty for disengaging from the news. It's normal to find it distressing when hearing traumatic news stories and seeing distressing images. It's all day. And I don't know if you have a phone, how you can avoid it. So you got to put the phone down. Set boundaries. Take charge of the news you intake by deactivating notifications. You can't avoid it. See, this is stupid. This is stupid. The media may also be partly to play a role in this phenomenon. May also partly play a role. You think? Many publications are aware that when there's a cascade of crises, our level of concern appears to diminish. Interesting. So when there's more bad news, we disengage more. So, publications strive to capture attention with increasingly vivid contents to keep viewers engaged. Boy, I got to tell you something. We are all just being manipulated on every level in this lifetime. Every level. Oh, they should be teaching this in school. How do you avoid the news? Teach that in school. Teach this. How not to be a victim of a Ponzi scheme. Here's another class they should teach. How not to end up in a cult. I can't believe how many cults. I mean, there could just be a cult channel. And just all day, about people in cults. I mean, I just watched one about the twin flames. And that's the other thing. Once one comes out, there's one on Hulu, there's one on Amazon, now there's one on Netflix, all covering the same thing. Twin flames. Anyway. So that's 1 and 2. Let's go 3. Slow down. Yeah, slow down. Witnessing others suffering can trigger stress responses in our body, including an accelerated heart rate. You know what it does to me? It makes me want to eat more. And then go into a pool and do belly flops. If you find you're feeling anxious or stressed when consuming news, relaxation techniques such as meditation and deep breathing can help. Oh, this is starting to make my heart rate go up. Stupid advice. Oh my God. Connect with nature. Number 4, connect with nature. Taking a walk in nature also helps to reduce stress. Yeah, you know what happens when you take a walk when you leave your house? You run into assholes. Okay, so leaving the house doesn't help. I mean, walking helps. This may also help alleviate the compassion fatigue, as elevated cortisol levels, known as stress hormones, are linked to chronic stress burnout and emotional stress, all of which can worsen compassion fatigue. I don't think it's compassion fatigue. I think we're all just fatigued. We're done. Like I've called for in past episodes of What's Wrong with Orny Adams, I'm calling for a worldwide nap. Everybody needs to get on, like in preschool, on the mat and fall asleep for a half hour. And then we'll give you apple juice and graham crackers. Number 5. How to avoid compassion fatigue. Caring for plants. Be nurturing. Caring for plants or pets profoundly affects well-being. Nurturing living things fosters personal fulfillment and compassion. Oh, and companion animals can reduce negative emotions, mitigating some of the effects of compassion fatigue. You know, this one I agree with. Be nurturing. I give that a check. Plus, pets help, sure. Plants, I love to water my plants. Sometimes I overwater them and I kill them because I'm giving. I'm like that on stage. Sometimes I overwater the audience and I kill them. I should have gotten off 20 minutes earlier. Number 6, take action. Try addressing problems you can solve instead by dwelling on insurmountable issues. I agree with that. They say volunteer. I say concentrate on your own life and solve your own problems. Wake up during the day, make the bed, always make the bed first, then have a checklist. Have a checklist and have some things on the checklist that are attainable. It could be as simple as check one of these boxes or empty the dishwasher. And then you'll feel a sense of accomplishment and a sense of control, because you can't control, hate to say it, you can't control what's going on. Most people, certainly not me, what's going on in other countries, in wars, in inflation, and all this stuff, and the politics, and the crap, and the shit on social media. You can't control it. You can disengage and find control in your own life. Number 7, seek support. Well, there's always that one. If you're finding it difficult to cope, or your compassion fatigue has been happening for some time, you might consider seeking support. No, thank you. No, thank you. So, you know, I'm finding reading is getting harder and harder because my eyes don't focus as fast, and then my brain can't process it. Someone took a picture of me on my phone the other day, and I was holding it like this, like I was afraid of it. Like that's what older people do. I'm not an old person. I did return my soup. You hold. Everyone, it's like they're afraid of their phone. Look at people because they have to hold it far away. I'm going to need longer arms to hold the phone far enough away. So that's where I'm at. I want to be going home for Thanksgiving, taking a little bit of time off. And then I'll come back. I'll have all new stories. My throat will be back. I've had a sore throat for a week. I blame Vegas. All the deplorable people, the cesspool of Vegas. Being around all those people. Maybe it was the Improv 60th anniversary party I went to. Who knows? But I have been feeling under the weather. And I've still been doing shows. And I wanted to come out here and bang out, as we say, one of these podcasts. So you had something to listen to before Thanksgiving. Because I feel an obligation to you guys, the viewers. And I do appreciate, I'm getting more and more emails from people. In fact, one listener is 99 years old and has been corresponding with me, trying to get him to come on the podcast. He's a little skeptical. Doesn't know if he can trust me. Wants to build a friendship first, which I understand. But I'm hoping to, get him on here and maybe he can inspire us. What is it like to be 99? Give us your wisdom. But I believe he's the oldest What's Wrong with Orny Adams listener. This is what I believe. And love to have you on, buddy. He's was in show business, lives in Beverly Hills. I'd go to his house and interview him, take him out for coffee if he wants coffee first. I include that. Guests get coffee now. But I thank everybody that listens to this. I really do. And I'm gonna give you one more story before I wrap it up, before I bring it home and head off for Thanksgiving. And I'll have to edit this. I'll edit this when I'm back east and get it up. It'll be up before Thanksgiving. The audio will be up way before Thanksgiving. I get that to Ernesto, and he does the magic and puts it up there for you guys. So you'll have this to listen to if you're traveling. One person sent me an email. I should read some of these emails. Let me read this one. This one was great. Let me see if I can pull this one up. This guy went through the evolution of how we met, or how he came to know me through my shows in Vegas. And let's see. No, that's not it. Where would that be? Let me see if I can find it. I'm sorry about this. I was about to just bring it home and then, okay. All right. So here it is. I'm not going to say it. Should I say his name? He didn't give me permission. I'll say G. Hello, Orny. This is a perfect email. You want an example of a perfect email? Here it is. Orny, hello. You rock, bro, is all I was able to muster up when I ran into you after your show at Jimmy Kimmel's in Las Vegas last weekend. Your performance was stellar, and I must admit that nerves got the best of me when it came to talking to you in person. Yeah, I tell people it's a big deal to meet me. Be prepared. I'm a force. I'm an energy. Did you see the video? Oh, I didn't post it. I was making a Patreon for somebody, and then I got surrounded by a group of people in Vegas. I hope they put it up. And they're like, it's the guy from Teen Wolf. Like, people were like, it's Teen Wolf guy. And they start videotaping me doing my cameo. Did I say Patreon? My cameo. And then my cameo is me videotaping them, videotaping me. It was very meta. Anyway, it's a lot of excitement when I'm out in public. That's all I'm saying. Gee, don't feel bad that you got tongue-tied when you met Orny Adams in Vegas after his show. He said, I'd like to share something with you that I hope you'll appreciate. My first exposure to your comedy was earlier this year. I saw that you were performing at Jimmy Kimmel's in July and decided to watch More Than Loud. That's my special on YouTube before the show. More Than Loud is a brilliant special and instantly inspired me to purchase a ticket to your show at Jimmy Kimmel's, which was outstanding. After that, I watched your special Takes a Third, another excellent set. Now, I noticed More Than Loud was brilliant. Takes the Third, excellent. That's where my head goes. Anyway, that special motivated me to follow you on Facebook, where I received a link for your What's Wrong with Orny Adams podcast. At that point, thinking that you're some kind of comedy super wizard, I was almost fearful of the podcast because everyone has a podcast these days, and many of them aren't that good. These are his words. For a road trip from Denver to Las Vegas, I downloaded a bunch of What's Wrong with Orny Adams episodes along with an audiobook. I intended to listen to one or two of your episodes of your podcast and then move on to an audiobook. I was halfway through Utah and 10 or 12 episodes in before making the switch to the book. Well, I'd like to say, why did you stop? Why did you even go to the book? Why not go to 20 episodes? Kidding. Again, totally impressed with your content and delivery. One of your podcasts, you explored the tedious creative process and spoke about how your audience might feel about hearing some of the material more than once. This is what's interesting. I actually talked about this again on the last podcast with Jim Clemente. So it's interesting that he brought it up. So the timing of this email is actually perfect because I did post a video on the Devil TikTok and the Devil X and the Devil Instagram and YouTube, which I put a longer version of it up there. I'm not calling them the devil yet. And so you can reference what he is sort of talking about. Your live shows are some of the best I've ever seen. Your shows are fun, engaging, and original with every little overlap. You're way up there with the ratified air when it comes to comedians who can pull that off. As a lifelong fan of comedy, it's very cool to see someone with your level of skill, drive, dedication, putting out such consistent, quality content. Your hard work is much appreciated. Laughter is important. Thanks for doing what you do. Looking forward to seeing another show. G. Well, perfect email. So if I didn't read your email, well, wasn't as perfect as G's, I guess. No, I get a lot of emails, a lot of topic suggestions. I love it all. You can email me, what'swrong@ornyadams.com. If you want to see me live like G did in Vegas, go to ornyadams.com/tour. You can go to my Patreon. Now you can go to Cameo. You can hire. There's just so many different ways. In fact, right when I was walking in to record this, I'm in Big Yellow, my podcast studio, which is a Shasta trailer. I don't live in it, despite what people say. I don't live in this. I got a notification that another person signed up for my Patreon, which is inspiring. So I love it. Makes me want to work harder. Makes me not want to let you guys down. Again, the newer episodes on Patreon, then they go to YouTube. So let's wrap this Thanksgiving, pre-Thanksgiving podcast up with this. I saw this article in the New York Post. I'm a naked cleaner. Here's what I do, when clients strip down too. This woman, you can hire this woman to clean your house naked. And I thought, what is this? Like an escort? Like, what do you mean? Like, I have people clean my place. They're not naked. Like, what does naked add besides you're just staring at her body parts while she You know what I'm thinking? This is brilliant. I need a naked cleaner. So, I guess some people strip down. I'm going to read the article. When she gets there, they take their clothes off too, thinking that she wants to see them naked. So now you got a naked homeowner too. Okay. With the exception, you can see the pictures of her. They show pictures of her cleaning naked. They cover her face. With the exception of her bright yellow rubber gloves, Lottie Ray scrubs strangers' homes in the buff. But that's not even the most unusual thing about the 32-year-old's job as a naked cleaner, charging $61 an hour to tidy. Why $61? What an odd amount. Now, 61, I would think most cleaners, certainly in the city I live in, are making about $30 to $40 an hour. Probably closer to 40. So for you to get naked, it's only $21 more an hour. And why 21? Why not? Is 61 is that the devil's number? Does 61 mean something to be naked? 61? I just can't get over 60. Why not 65? 69? Why not? So she charges $61 an hour. Despite insisting she's just there to clean, some of her male clientele, of course the males, believe they're getting more bang for the buck. Yeah, they wish they were getting bang. Look how this is written. New York Post is sneaky. There's a fair few people who are creepy. A handful of guys I clean for book cleaners on the premise that they will get something else. Well, of course. Of course. Why else are you naked? I can understand why guys would think that. Wasn't there something in LA where like strippers went around and cleaned? Why are you shocked? Creepy guys would think that. I'm clear. This is what she says. I'm clear. I'm just there to clean. But they'll say that other cleaners have been strippers or given massages. See? Ray describes herself as free-spirited and took the job in 2017 to make some extra cash, saying she wouldn't do it if there weren't financial incentives. I'm always looking for ways to make extra money and quite like being naked, so I thought, okay, I'll try it. Well, being naked in the comfort of your own home or being naked where you feel comfortable is a lot different than being naked cleaning some creepy guy's house. Some of the homes she cleans for are grimy. Of course. What do you think? Hoarders are hiring naked cleaners. Normal people. Look I'm a successful homeowner. I'm not hiring a naked cleaner because I know the gimmick is that she's naked. I want my house cleaned. I don't need to look at a naked person not cleaning my house well enough. Get down there and scrub. Keep your clothes on. However, Ray freaked out with the first job she ever booked and didn't end up going after looking at the house on Google Maps and seeing it backed into the woodlands. But going forwards, I thought I can do this and started accepting jobs. She said she met all sorts of people. While younger men with disposable income want to try something different, others think the maid routine is a rouse. One guy even putting... Oh no, where's page 13? Where's page 13? Porn on his TV. Oh, that was great. I'm glad I couldn't find page 13. It created a nice pregnant pause there. Some guy puts porn on the TV. She shows up naked to clean. I mean, of course this sends a bad message. Creepy or pervy men aside, some of her clientele just want company or someone to hang out with in the buff. There's some men who are creepy and expect sexual favors. Some of her clients will strip down with her when she arrives. That's not creepy? That's not creepy. I'm glad the person cleaning my house keeps her clothes on. One of her regular male clientele is even a nudist. He's already naked when I get there, and we have coffee and play with his dog. Sick of this shit. So stupid. These things infuriate me. I'm glad Brown University isn't studying naked home cleaning. It's just, I know what it is. I wonder if she has done sexual favors. I think she also said in the article her parents or family knows that she does this. I just, listen, there's nothing wrong with getting naked. Nothing. The body is a piece of art. Not mine, but, other people's. And there's nothing wrong. I don't look down on people that want to be naked. I don't even care if you want to clean naked. But let's be clear. Most guys, when they see, I'll clean your home naked for $61, they're thinking, is this something else? Is this, like those massage parlors that some men go to? Is that what this is? I don't know. The world is so messed up. I want to leave on a positive note for Thanksgiving, but what's positive? Like on this Thanksgiving, when you sit around the table and you have to say what you're thankful for. That's what my family does. We all say what we're thankful for. Why do I have to think so hard? Why? Because the world is just constantly disappointing. And everybody is so self-involved. Everybody walks around on their phones. When you go to the gym, like today, I took a picture, 3 guys in a row on leg machines just looking at their phones. Not even working out. I watched them. I was waiting for several minutes. I don't even look up to see if anybody else is waiting. That's the world. Maybe that's just Los Angeles. I don't know, but I think that's the world. I think the world we live in, we have become so self-absorbed. And why not? Why not? When you can post a picture of yourself on social media and get likes from all over the world and from bots all over the world, why not think that you are more important than other people? Well, I say this Thanksgiving, let's be thankful and let's go back to caring about other humans, because this world will never, ever, ever survive if we keep going at the pace we're going. Unless, of course, you come to see one of my comedy shows and laugh it off, just like G did. So thank you, everybody. Episode 97. What's wrong with the Orny Adams? We got Orny Adams. I'll be back after Thanksgiving with episode 98, which will be a celebration of family times and good times. Look forward to seeing you at one of my shows. Irvine Improv, December 8th through 10th. Ice House, December 16th. Look, I can memorize these things. Going back to McCurdy's in Sarasota, Florida. Oh, I have to fly into that airport again. Oh, no. Oh, God. I will be at the Chicago Improv in January, Traverse, Michigan. The tour goes on and on. More Teen Wolf conventions and confirming new dates every day. Every single day. OrnyAdams.com/tour. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Much love. And never forget, I returned a bowl of soup because it wasn't hot enough. And that soup was my entree too. I mean, who am I going to make fun of moving forward? Because I'm becoming everyone I make fun of.